Hello everyone, we are Robin and Graham.
After 4 days of hiking through wind, rain, and little sleep, we have finally arrived at the ancient ruins of Machu Picchu.
Come with us as we discover this wonder of the world.
Good morning from a rainy Machu Picchu. So we woke up at 3:30 this morning, quickly packed up our stuff because our porters had to make their way down to catch a train. We made our way down to a little shelter here where we're waiting for passport control to let us into Machu Picchu. Now it doesn't actually open until 5:30 and we got here at about 4 o'clock, but that's just so that the porters could make their train.
And it's almost 5 o'clock now.
And it's almost 5 o'clock, so we can almost go in, but our lovely cook packed us a little breakfast to have.
Yeah.
So we've just been sitting, enjoying. Graham and I did not sleep a ton last night.
It absolutely poured.
It did.
Last
It
night.
poured last
Literally
night.
from 9 o'clock till 2:30, it poured. We're both very paranoid that all of our stuff in our tent was wet. Of course, the tent is waterproof, but there was still quite a bit of paranoia that set in, so not a lot of sleep was had between the two of us.
No, but we are very excited to finally get to see Machu
Absolutely.
Picchu. I'm hoping that with the rain, honestly, that the clouds have dispersed a little bit. So we'll see. Our first stop is the Sun Gate, which then brings us to a really nice lookout of Machu Picchu if it's not cloudy. So here's hoping for that. We just got to what they called the Gringo Killer, which is a whole bunch of steep steps.
Yeah. Only about 10 minutes or so until we reach the Sun Gate.
Made it to the top. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we've passed the Sun Gate and the clouds have definitely started to roll in. So we're slowly making our way past through all the controls that the Inca people had while they were operating here around Machu Picchu. But now we're going to continue about 5 or 10 minutes more to our next control and then I think onto Machu Picchu. We have officially made it to Machu Picchu. Unfortunately, it's a little bit cloudy. So we're gonna wait a few minutes just down here and see if we can get the iconic photo that everybody takes when they come here.
Machu Picchu should be right there if the clouds just move away.
Okay, so we waited a little while, the fog moved, and it was absolutely incredible.
So stunning. It was beautiful.
Literally everything that we had hoped, sorta. I mean, some blue skies and just a consistent view would have been nice, but at least we got something and it was incredible.
It a little bit more mystical, mysterious.
For sure it does.
It's definitely a different vibe here in the wet season than the dry.
Yeah. Yeah, so now we are gonna head out, have some coffee, use a bathroom, and then I think start to do a full tour of Machu Picchu.
After a coffee and a real bathroom break, and I say real because we've been using squatty potties in the forest for the past 4 days, I feel like a new person, ready to take on circuit 3. Okay, so our guide Grover just told us a little bit about Machu Picchu here.
Yeah.
We found there's a house that actually has its roof still on because when Machu Picchu was discovered by an archaeologist, there was a family living here. So this is their
living
house
here
that
and
they
farming in the terraces that are just out front.
And Machu Picchu is known as the lost city of the Incas, and the archaeologist who found it took a long time to actually find this place. It was completely covered by vegetation, super hidden. So it's just really, really a unique site. It's surrounded by mountains, so it makes it really hard to actually get to.
When the Incas built it, they built it as having the mountains as their protectors, and then on the other side of where we are currently sitting is a massive cliff, so you can't actually get up that way either. And then the archaeologists that found it was actually down in the valley on the other side of the river and saw some stone up here, so they decided to come up here and saw there was a family living here. And so the first tour guide to ever give a tour at Machu Picchu was the 9-year-old who was living here in this family.
Yeah, which is really cool. And this site isn't necessarily bigger than some of the other sites that we were visiting on our trek, but it's known to be sacred because there's 9 different temples here.
Yeah.
And lots of the ones that we had found before was a lot more of the terraces, so for farming and stuff, and this is more of like a city, a religious city.
It's got the farming, the temples, and the urban portion. So it's got a little bit of every piece of the Inca archaeological sites that we've seen so far.
But now I think we are going to continue on. You'll see Inca walls like this where all of the rocks perfectly fit into one another, and this construction they did whenever they had princesses or special religious buildings. This was the wall that they made, or else it would be kind of like this where it's more of like a jigsaw puzzle, I would say.
Okay, so Grover was just explaining what's going on underneath this glass, and he was talking about the foundation that the Inca people built on. So in today's construction, we see people dig into the ground to build up, so there's a good foundation. The Inca people did the exact same thing, but the fact that they had to move all these rocks or gather all these rocks to build these impressive sculptures and go 3 meters down, even more impressive.
Okay, we have now made it to the urban side of Machu Picchu. So surrounding us is a whole bunch of houses where all of the people lived.
Yeah, the last little while we've been checking out temples and palaces, and I'm excited to see what the day-to-day life looked like.
So as an extra $70 you can pay to climb this mountain here behind me. And so that is where my dad has gone. The rest of us were not feeling an extra hike after these 4 days. So while he has now started his climb up there, we are continuing our tour with very little steps.
Okay, we are in a bit of a larger home right now. Grover was just saying that the stairs behind me were actually used to get up to the second floor, where they would put wood from that shelf across, and they would use it for storage for extra blankets and extra clothes and extra things like that.
Well, that officially ends our time at Machu Picchu. We are on the bus that's going to take us back to Aguas Calientes, where we're going to explore and have some lunch.
Okay, so we've just dropped some of our stuff off at the Full House Peruvian Cuisine restaurant, where we will be having lunch once Grant is back from Hawaii Picchu. But in the meantime, we have about an hour to kill here in Aguas Calientes, and it is a beautiful town. So we are going to go explore a little bit and see what we can find. Felt a bit like Vietnam back on Train Street again.
So I think Asia has made our bartering skills a little bit better, and I'm pretty proud of ourselves. So we really wanted to get some placemats because they were just so colorful and we really like them. We found a little bit off the main street a lady who was selling them for 32 soles, but we hadn't asked what anyone else was offering them for yet, so we didn't say anything. But in the main square they were selling them for 60 soles per placemat. And we didn't want to pay that either. So already this lady was like half the price. And we went back to her because she's so nice, and we settled on 104 for 4 of them. So way better than 32 for each. And I'll show you what we got because I really like them. First one, some llamas. Then we got a really colorful one with some people. Then we got a fun patterned one. And our last one, we also got some people. And I just think they all go together and they're so bright and colorful and they're gonna be perfect in our house.
Okay, we have made it back to the Full House restaurant for lunch. There's a very nice gentleman that took a photo of us at the very start of our trek. And he just showed up with these awesome little pamphlets for us. So we bought one for 20 soles.
We have been absolutely spoiled with food presentation on this trip. Granted, we did buy this one, but the other ones, even when we were camping, everything is just like perfection. And I cannot wait. This pasta is gonna hit perfect.
Okay, we've made it back to Ollantaytambo. Train ride was good. It was sunny pretty much right until we got onto the train. So sunny I took off both my sweater and my rain jacket. And now we're here and I've got my puffer jacket on. So we can't seem to find the good weather right now, which is too bad, I guess. But it is nice to be back and so close to having a shower and a nice comfortable bed to sleep in. So this is not where we actually got dropped off and started our trek. We were a ways back towards Machu Picchu, so this is all very touristy. Lots of people asking you to buy things, come to their shop, all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of a new experience, which is always fun. But yeah, we've got about an hour and a half, I think, back to Cusco, so should be a good ride.
Don't forget anything, guys. Don't forget anything.
Wow, does it feel good to shower and put on clean clothes?
I love camping sometimes, and sometimes it's nice to just sleep in a warm bed with a hot shower. But when you're hiking to Machu Picchu, it's all worth it.
Yeah, I really loved the Inca Trail. It's definitely, it's like a combination of roughing it, but also glamping, because porters are bringing all your stuff. All you have to bring is your day backpack, so I absolutely loved that. The food that we got was crazy incredible. Good. Like
literally some of the best food I've
five-course meals, like for every single meal. Even breakfast was extravagant. The bathroom situations got less and less each time.
The further you got into the jungle,
the less of a toilet it was.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But I mean, because everything that you see there, shelters and everything, someone would have had to hike it up. So I mean, it makes sense. But I definitely was looking forward to this nice hot shower. Yeah. But our day at Machu Picchu was amazing. I'm so glad the clouds moved and we were able to see it from the top. And also, even when we were walking around, we could still see it all, which was wonderful.
Rain was off and on, so that was a non-factor. And it was just so cool to see everything that the Incas kind of did and everything that they thought about, but also learning it from Grover. He was so knowledgeable about every
guide.
Plants and history and just all kinds of stuff. You could ask him any question and bang, he'd have the answer for you. Yeah. Guy's like a walking encyclopedia.
He grew up in the Sacred Valley in one of the villages that we actually camped at first is where he grew up. So he's very familiar with the native language. He's very familiar with the plants, the history, all of that stuff. So even though we aren't doing a partnership with San Peru Travels, they were honestly such an amazing company.
We can't say enough good things about them.
But I also wanted to wrap up really quickly some pros but also disadvantages of going in the wet season, because it is December right now. Yep. And Grover did say it's particularly a wet December. Yeah. But usually this is the start of the wet season. Pro is that honestly, for most of the Inca Trail, I felt like we were just by ourselves with Grover for most of it, except when we got to Machu Picchu. Obviously, that's where all of the other tourists were. Yep. But I mean, cons, we got rained a lot.
We saw a lot of rain.
We saw a lot of rain. We camped in a lot of rain. So
we slept in a lot of rain.
Don't want to deal with any of that, you might have to start looking into either the shoulder seasons or the dry season, because expect rain if you're going in the wet season.
But if you go in the dry season, expect tourists. So rain or tourists are kind of your two options.
But anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this Inca Trail series. We had a lot of fun doing it, and we will see you in our next adventure. Bye-bye. in the shower. No, you're not. Good morning. Whoa.
There we go. Woo!
Stinky?
This corner is stinky.
If the clouds just move away.
What? That's so, the whole thing?
It smells so good. Yes.